Hey friends, it's Megan. How are you guys? Welcome back to the Charm Prairie. I'm hiding out in the woods right now from kids and the wind. So hopefully you all can hear me and nobody finds me out here. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've been on here and I'm really excited to be back. I have been spending some time formulating and planning out my ideas and what I want to do on this platform, and I'm really excited. Really excited. I'm never gonna get caught. I can see them perfectly, but they can't see me. I'm like camouflaged here, so I'm gonna have to be quick. Anyway, I thought I would jump on and just kind of share some of what's been going on. The biggest thing since last we met is it's summertime. Well, technically it's still spring. It's almost Memorial Day, but it feels like summer. It is hard to believe, but less than 2 weeks ago, we had snow on the ground here. Craziness, I know, but I think it is gone for good. It's time to be nice. So I have been doing a lot of working in my yard and gardening and dreaming all the dreams that happen when it's summer and springtime, and I have a lot I want to do. I'm gonna do like a more in-depth video on this later, but coming out of quarantine has really made me realize that I really need to get back into my garden and my homesteading and just all my self-sufficient things that I once really was into, and then life took a moment. I went through a season and I did not do any of that, but now it's time to get back into it, and I will talk about that later. But all that to say, the garden is going down and that's really exciting. We may have baby chicks this evening, and that's really exciting. It's like all the things. So I'm just gonna take you on a quick little tour with me around the yard to kind of see some of my projects, things I've been working on, and some of my hopes and dreams, and yeah, we will kind of get into that, and hopefully I will show you a lot more in-depth things coming up. And stay tuned, I have something really exciting in the works. So when I can officially share that, I will, and it's going to be exciting. So let's go for a little tour. So here are some of my plants that desperately need to get into the garden. I was a little concerned about putting my tomatoes and peppers out just yet because we have been getting some cold and frost, but I think at this point they just really need to go out. Otherwise, I'm worried they're gonna just be dead for good because I keep killing them and bringing them back to life. And I just don't know how long that's gonna last because you can see these. Let me zoom in. These poor little tomatoes really have seen better times and they need to go out. So those are on my list of things to get out. I've been working on getting my flower pots on my porch. This coal bucket my kids found for me out in the woods, and I just think it's so cool. It's from our property and I plant geraniums in it every year and I love it. It gives me so much joy. And I also like to plant in this this is just an old log that was hollowed out. Then I just had my guys bring it up here several years ago Like all the bark has fallen off of it, but I just like it. I always plant something in there, usually geraniums. And again, just the little things that give me so much joy. Project-wise, this whole front flower bed, I want to just start ripping out because I can't compete with the dog anymore. I'm gonna leave like bigger perennials like these lilies and stuff, but my goal is to start like moving the things that I want to keep, and then eventually maybe next summer we'll just rock this all in because I love the dog, but seriously, how can I compete with that? She is such a guardian and wants to be right by the house, which I love, but she has like 3 bed spots. They're like wallows. I'm serious. Who can compete with that? I'm just not gonna fight her anymore. The rhubarb is looking amazing. It's gonna definitely be ready to get picked soon. I'm so excited. One thing I'm gonna try new this year is making some rhubarb syrup. I think that sounds really tasty. Let me know, is rhubarb somewhere, like, is it everywhere, or is it like a Midwest regional thing? Let me know. Where do you live in the country, and do you have rhubarb there? Because it's like huge here. In fact, at a certain point, we just don't pick it anymore because it's just too much. I have a little poppy that's gonna bloom. These are little Icelandic poppies, and they grow and grow and grow. And they're just so cute. Like, when I say they grow and grow and grow, like, they bloom and bloom and bloom. Oh, look, there's another one. And I said there's one coming right down there. Oh my gosh, there's tons. Look at all those blooms. Oh, and there's another one. Wow, that has at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has at least 7 blooms on it. For Mother's Day, my guys made me this rock garden, and it's beautiful. All of these rocks came from our property, and they were all lovingly hauled in one by all of them. And I love it. This was just like the most awkward space here, and I just kept killing plants, and all I grew was weeds, and it just looked terrible. And so they made my dreams come true. I don't know if I'm gonna keep those old wheels on there. Those are just thrown on there to show me what I could do with my landscaping. Okay guys, this is my real hot mess. This is my raspberry patch, which is brambles, I know. I have started cutting out all the dead, and it is such a hateful job. But what the worst thing is this past fall, we had an early heavy snow in like the 1st of October. And everything just went flat. You see, they're just like laying on the ground. And so I've been having to cut out all the dead and cut out even living, the stuff that is just gonna be a nightmare to clean or to pick. Yeah, this isn't a job that you do all in one day. Like, you work on this when you have the patience and the time. Oh yeah, does that bother you? Where I've worked? Looks amazing. But we'll see. That might be as far as I get this summer. We'll see. jungle, jungle, jungle. So I've been found, which is totally fine. You're just gonna hear some screaming in the background, which it's happy. It's fine. It's all cool. It's just, it's life, right? We are all about being real here. So you're gonna see a lot of real. A lot of real. And while we're talking about being real, I would just like to say that all of my lovely little plants that I started inside this year, yeah, I basically had crop failure. I'm not exactly sure what went down. I think it's just because it was so unbelievably cold up until like a week ago, and I don't have any lights or heaters, so even though they're in this little greenhouse, it still wasn't very warm. So I'll show you what survived. I've thrown a lot of them out. So I just took what few broccolis I thought were worth keeping and composted the rest of them. They're so tiny, and I did end up going and buying broccolis. But I'm gonna keep letting these grow and put them out in probably another week or so and just have a later batch of broccoli. These tomatoes, I just don't know if there's any saving them or not. They're so tiny. But we'll see. What my peppers are like the tiniest ever. But I'm gonna kind of let those grow maybe for a little more and see what happens to them. This is baby kale that I will go transplant out. Like, I need to do it soon because clearly I'm killing a large portion of it. I think I'll do that this evening. So we'll see how that fares. I tried to start it ahead of time because I have had such horrible luck with flea beetles eating it all off. Like when it first sprouts and is like uber tiny, so we'll see. This stuff, on the other hand, is doing fantastic. These are my cucumbers. So those are doing really good. I usually start them from seed in the ground, but I thought I would also start some like ahead of time so that I can kind of stagger them out. So, yeah. I'm also propagating like a bajillion baby succulents that are actually doing really well. So, too bad we can't eat those because we're gonna have plenty. Okay, so let's head out to the garden because that's my favorite place.
She's messing with that little cold thing.
Okay, why don't you go check on her? So my older boys last night built me all of these teepees, and I'm so excited. I love them. They're so rustic and charming, and they're gonna just look darling once stuff is growing on them. I did this like several years ago, and it just was so fun. So I'm gonna grow different things like pole beans. I'm gonna try to grow some cucumbers on them. What I'm gonna do, and haven't done yet, is take twine and make, wrap it around to make like a string lattice type thing of it for them to grow on, and they're gonna look great. In fact, you hear some chopping out in the woods. One of my boys is gonna make me like an arbor entryway that I'm gonna grow some decorative beans on. So I'm probably about halfway done with planting my garden. You can see I use very fancy sticks as markers. I just am all about going and recycling what's out in the woods because I will pull these out. Yeah, I used to have the beans. Once stuff starts to grow and burn them. I have 3 permanent fences that I grow my peas on, so those are planted. I think this big open space is where my tomatoes and peppers are gonna go. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in this one yet. Maybe I'll put like the zucchini and summer squash in here. I don't know. I have quite a bit of space, so I'm still trying to decide where everything is going. Over here, I transplanted some of the spinach, and it doesn't look like it's all dying. I do say I need to come out and water this and give it a little drink. Some of them look a little dry, but I think it'll be okay. So these are ones I started inside, and then I did plant a row here just to come up. The only big plants that I have so far are my cabbages. I have cabbages here. And I planted a lot of cabbages because I'm hoping to make a lot of sauerkraut. And we just really love cabbage a lot. And now my broccolis. And again, I planted a lot because this is one thing that normally I freeze a ton of and the past couple years we haven't had any, and we've had to buy broccoli, and it's been honestly disappointing. So I'm hoping to have a really amazing crop and put just a ton of broccoli in the freezer. I have onions also here. Long rows of onions. I have some are bulbs, some are like little plant starts. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what grows the best. I have heard some people say you get bigger onions from bulbs, or some people say you get bigger onions from plants. I guess we'll see. And then, you can't see them yet, but I have my potato hills here. So I always plant the potatoes and the onions first because that is what I hate planting the most. And so I try to just get it over with so that they're done. So my dear sweet husband tilled my garden for me for Mother's Day, and then he went ahead and he made it about 12 feet bigger. So I can put a ton in my garden this year. And I'm planning, the plan is that once I get all of the things that I want and need, I'm gonna just start sticking greens everywhere I can. And see what happens. I would like to eventually get this garden to be a no-till garden. That's a lot of work, like upfront work, that eventually like pays off in the long run. So we'll see how ambitious I feel this summer. In the spring, you always feel like you're gonna just tackle everything, and then by like the middle of summer, you like fizzle out. But thankfully, this summer, prior to all of the world's craziness, was kind of the summer that we didn't have a lot going on. So if all I do is stay home and work in the garden, that's about all I really have going on. So anyway, oh dear, we're melting down here now. So I am going to end this video here. I am excited to share more of what's been going on, so stay tuned for all the goodies. So we'll see you later.